Okay, we're back at it again with another Nom Studios podcast. Today we have Brittany Vaz with Vaz Law on the podcast. What's up, Brittany?
What's going on? I'm so happy to be here.
I know, we go way back, like 2-3 years now.
I know. When I saw you had a podcast, I was like, I have to get on.
Yes,
Theo has a podcast. I got to get on.
I had to have you on the podcast because if you didn't know, Vaz Law is divorce mediation and divorce attorneys, right?
Yes, divorce mediation, collaborative divorce.
Okay.
Yeah.
But whenever you talk about collaborative divorce mediation, you always have me rolling. Like
People always, because it's, divorce, everybody knows somebody who's gotten divorced. So people always ask me for like divorce horror stories. And so I do feel like there is an aspect to my job that can be very funny.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a more relatable to speak about it than like, this family was devastated by the divorce, like nobody really wants to hear about that. So
Not to laugh at other people's pain, but
I know that's the thing. I do try to make it a little bit funny because it's a very serious, like heavy topic. So we, even with our clients, like we try to keep it light, like it's a great future for you, not you're financially ruined.
I mean, let's go back to keeping it funny. When we were doing marketing for you, you had that whole trend of fictional couples who
rating if fictional couples would stay together or not. And I'm gonna be honest, a lot of fictional couples I don't think are very good for each other.
Yeah, I saw that. I think the only two fictional couples that you said were good for each other was like Bluey. And did you say like Peppa Pig's parents or no? I don't know.
Was it? I think it was literally Bluey's parents, and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Harry Potter and Ginny Weasley, I said they were good for each other. But other than that, I mean, to be fair,
you said like a majority, like 99, overwhelming majority of like Disney couples are not staying together.
100%. 100%. There's no way. Like, you can't tell me Tiana and Naveen from Princess and the Frog are staying together. There's no way. There's no way a millionaire prince would be with like a woman who saved coins in a jar. Like, I'm sorry. It's just not happening. But to be fair, I don't think most real life couples would stay together either.
Okay.
I'm very tainted, right? Because of what I do. I work in divorce. So I can like
see it literally
a couple
every day.
Yes, exactly. I can like see a couple interacting and not really know much else about them and be like, oh yeah. Give it a couple years.
Yeah, okay.
You're gonna hate each other. You know what I mean? So
do you feel like that? Like, have you ever been to a wedding and you're just like, they're gonna be a client soon?
It doesn't even take me to get to the wedding. I like see their engagement announcement and I'm like, whew. Hope you got a prenup. Hope you got a
see it from
prenup.
a static picture.
Yeah, like I could just sometimes tell. Also, like if you're spending a lot of money on your wedding, I mean, this isn't even just my feeling or my bias because of the field I work in. This actually statistically is true that if a couple's spending a lot of money on their wedding, that the statistics are higher that they are going to get divorced.
Really?
Obviously, that's not true for everyone, right? But if I see somebody has like, I mean, I one time had like a white glove hand delivered wedding invitation, like on like beautiful parchment and like thick paper and like gold embossment. And I'm like, oh God, you're getting divorced for sure. Because you wouldn't be trying so hard.
Shout out to all the elopement couples.
Yes, actually, yes.
Shout out to all the couples who just go to Vegas and just like, let's fucking get married.
Actually, yes. If somebody tells me that they got married on a whim, I am more inclined to like,
oh, this is love.
Yeah. Like, this is like a chemical feeling you had to get married to this person. Whereas, like, we've been together since high school and this is the only partner I've ever had. I'm like, that's a huge red flag. Why haven't you been with anyone else to see if you even like anybody else? You don't even have anything to compare it to. I think, high school sweethearts are huge red flags to me.
I'm hearing in between that you are pro hoe stage.
Oh. Bigly, yes. Bigly. Oh yeah, big time. When somebody tells me like, oh, I've only been with my husband, who am I to judge? Good for you. But I truly do think like you
need that time to go and do your thing and
truly.
Focus on yourself.
Even if you come back to that person, right? But you have to have had that experience to have it be compared to, right? Like how do you know actually like what you're into?
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
Okay.
So people who are like, I've been with them forever and I'm so happy. And you might be very happy and that might be satisfying for you, but I really do believe, especially women, right? Like you don't know what you don't know. And it's not as acceptable for women to do as it is for men to do. But yeah, I'm a big supporter. When my friends tell me they're in their hoe phase, I'm like, what can I do to facilitate this further? What can I do? You want me to lie to your spouse? Like, I'll help you. I'll help
just
you.
for the girlies.
Yeah, obviously just for the girlies, yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about divorce mediation and collaborative divorce, because I remember I said this. I mean, I know, but for the people who are watching, I remember when I first started working with you, I was all about like, I thought divorce is always messy. Like you see it on TV and it's always like a fight and I hate you and blah, blah. And I'm going to take the house. I'm going to take everything
taking you for all your worth. And I'm taking the kids. You're never going to see them.
Yeah, you're never going to see them. And that's what I thought divorce was like. Divorce is always like a big money pit. But but then I learned about what you and your mom do. It's your mom's firm. Is it just you and your mom, or do you have other lawyers working with you guys now?
No, we used to, but it's just us now.
Okay.
It's just us now. It's super small operation, but we like it that way. We, less cooks in the kitchen, so to speak, and we're very hands-on and personal with our clients.
Yeah.
We are a boutique law firm, so, you could go to a huge law firm with like, a bunch of attorneys on staff. And, you could sometimes, this isn't always the case, but you could sometimes feel like your case is maybe getting like shifted around or you might be falling through the cracks. With us, it's literally us, right? You're talking to Brittany for one thing, you're talking to Liz for another thing. Yeah. So our clients know us like on a personal level, right? Which we like and we feel is important, especially when you are dealing with something as, a life transition like divorce. I just think like if I was getting divorced tomorrow, I would really like to work with a law firm like ours where I know my attorney, I know their staff, and I'm not just like being passed around from attorney, paralegal to paralegal in this giant firm, and I don't really know what's going on.
Okay. So divorce mediation, collaborative divorce, that's just how, it's, if you're like getting divorced and it's not very stressful, like talk to me about that. Like,
well, so divorce mediation and the collaborative divorce process are great for couples who are looking to get divorced amicably, but it's also great for couples who even are in high conflict. Maybe there is domestic violence present, maybe there is a power imbalance present, and a lot of people don't think of especially mediation as being good for that because there aren't really a lot of depictions of divorce mediation in media. Like everybody always brings up the scene in Wedding Crashers where there's like divorce mediation at the beginning of Wedding Crashers, but I will just say that is not a good representation of mediation at all. That's not how we handle mediation. And that isn't real. That was obviously for comedy, but that's really what people have as like a reference for it. So divorce mediation is where, the couple comes together and they decide that they don't want to go to court and they choose together a divorce mediator who is basically just a neutral third party there to help them make decisions. They're not making decisions for them, but they're really just there to help them through the process. And, like what we were just saying, you don't know what you don't know, right? A lot of people getting divorced don't know.
It's like a neutral counsel.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
A lot of people getting divorced don't even know that they have to maybe consider life insurance or that they're going to have to split their retirement. So the, mediator is just there to help you through all of that.
I feel like I feel like a lot of people don't know that you don't even have to go to court to get divorced.
Exactly.
Like you saying like they don't want to go to court. I'm like, so how do you get divorced then? I thought you had to go to court.
I know. So a lot of people don't know that. So you, as the divorcing couple, can choose mediation or collaborative, which I'll talk more about as well, but you can choose to not go to court. The court still needs to be involved, but you don't have to be involved with the court, if that makes sense. So you don't actually have to step foot in the courtroom. You can hire a mediator or other professionals to do that for you. So when we help clients in mediation and we're done, mediating with them, we file for them with the court. We file all of their documents electronically. We don't even have to go to court for them. Yeah. So you actually don't have to step foot in court. You don't have to see a judge to get divorced. And, a lot of people think, well, if I could agree on everything, why would I be going to mediation? If we could agree on everything, we would still be together. Yeah. But it's not that you have to agree on everything to go for mediation to work for you. You have to agree to go to mediation, if that makes sense. It's a voluntary process, right? Nobody's making you do it. You both have to agree to try it and then let the mediator sort of work you through everything else. Okay. So even if it is high conflict and you are fighting over the retirement account.
Yeah.
you still go to mediation.
Do you need to be an attorney to be a mediator?
No. So, for instance, I'm not an attorney, and I'm a trained mediator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to be an attorney?
Oh, absolutely not. No. Oh, no. Everybody asks me that. It's a very natural question because my mom's an attorney. I work for an attorney. I work in this field. I don't really like attorneys, right? They're not generally.
Hear that, Mom? She doesn't really like you either.
She feels the same way. That's why we like to deal with outside of court divorces, because a lot of times the pain points that come up when you are dealing with litigated divorces, I mean, there are so many pain points, but are dealing with other attorneys, right?
Okay.
So yeah, I don't really like attorneys. We work with great attorneys because we have made those connections with amazing attorneys like Liz, right? Like my mom. So they are out there, but they're not good people.
Okay. So as a boutique firm, what is your bandwidth? How many clients do you feel like you could deal with at one time before you're just like, all right, we had enough for this month or this quarter?
Well, so it depends. So we do still have cases that are in court and being actively litigated. We're trying to wean them out and not, take them anymore, because that really isn't our focus. Our focus is truly on outside of court divorces. Yeah. But if we were to say that we were, litigating every case that we had, I mean, with just two people, you could really only do so much. Yeah. Right. But with mediation and collaborative, you're sort of working at your own timeline, your own pace. You're working at the client's pace. You're sort of meeting the client where they're at, and there's nobody to answer to, so to speak. So we can handle more. Whereas in litigation, you're answering to the court. You're on their timeline. Okay. They tell you to show up on Thursday, and I have 3 other meetings on Thursday.
You gotta push everything back.
Yeah, and it sort of throws you off. Whereas sort of what we do, we are able to operate, with more clients because of how we choose to do business, basically.
And how long does mediation usually take? What was the longest or shortest client you've had?
So this is a question I answer a lot in consultations. Yeah. And people always hate my answer because it's a non-answer. It really depends on you. It really depends on you, the level of support you need. Right. So the fastest mediation that we've had, they had everything settled in literally 1 mediation session. I will say that is extremely rare. It was literally 1 issue that they wanted to mediate. Everything else they had already decided coming to us. Yeah. But then, I mean, the long we've had people who have been in our office and then virtual 20 sessions, and Jesus it's still Christ. Not done. So that's not normal either. I wouldn't tell people to expect to be there for 20 sessions. Yeah. But there's also nothing wrong with that. If you need 50 sessions, that is what it is. Yeah. You need the level of support that you need, and we never want somebody to move on from the process until they feel comfortable with the decisions that they've made. Okay. So it really just depends.
So as a mediator, are you able to practice anywhere in the States, or is it just kind of like an attorney in New York? You need a license for each state? So
I do believe each state operates differently. In New York State, I am certified. I was trained. However, there's not a state regulated training. Whereas my mom and boss, who lives in Florida, she is an attorney only licensed to practice in New York, so she can't practice law in Florida. So she obviously just practices virtually here in New York, but she just got trained for mediation in Florida, and that is recognized by the courts, and that does need to be approved, so to speak, by the courts. So I do believe each state has their own method of how they handle that. Yeah. And I think Florida's backwards in a lot of ways, but that's great. That's great that they do that, because New York, I mean, I was trained, but I technically didn't have to be to start mediating for people. So, yeah. I would say if you're looking for a divorce mediator, look for an experienced divorce mediator.
So, as a mediator, hey, Brittany, I am getting divorced and I need a mediator right now. What is the first thing that I need to know?
Okay, so this might sound silly, but the first thing I ask people in consultations is, have you spoken to your spouse about divorce? And that, again, might sound really silly, but you'd be surprised how many people are like, well, I haven't spoken to them about it yet, but I wanted to talk to you first. Go talk to them. Because I can't tell you if mediation would work for you until I know how you both feel about the divorce process.
Because it can't be it has both of you guys.
You both have to agree to come to mediation, exactly. So you could be thinking in your head, my spouse is going to be super cool about it. And then you say, I want a divorce. And they're like, this is coming out of left field. What do you mean? And then they're getting emotional and they're reacting like, I'm taking you for all you're worth, and mediation isn't going to work for you, right? So that's the first thing I say to people. Like, have you spoken to your spouse about divorce? What did that conversation look like? And are you at least amicable enough to have a conversation about how you're going to get divorced? And again, that might sound silly, but some people can't even have a conversation with each other.
Yeah. I'm sure you've had arguments right in front of you.
The things we've seen and the things we've heard. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, and that's the thing though, is that people think like, oh, it's like a kumbaya way to get divorced. And it can be. But you know, people get heated in the mediation room sometimes, and they're calling each other names, and they're, you know, bringing stuff up from 20 years ago. And it's the mediator's job to sort of like reel it in. Like, you know, and that's also why we talk to all of our divorcing clients about mental health and getting mental health counseling during, after, before divorce, and just considering your mental health, because after doing this for so long, I do really feel like a lot of issues that come up in divorce or in the divorce process are due to unresolved emotions, right? So it's not that you really care about her getting the kids on Christmas. It's not like you really care about him getting part of your retirement account. It's that it's how you're feeling about it. It's like this unresolved resentment or this unresolved emotion that you have, that's making you not want to come to the table, right? So yeah, we find that to be the case a lot of times when people are calling each other names at the mediation table. You probably need mental health counseling.
How do you deal with your mental health? How do you cool down at the end of like a long day? Because just being in marketing and video production and all that stuff, like everybody deals with a lot of personalities all day. And sometimes you just end the day and you're just like, I am so mentally drained from dealing with people.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with anybody. And I could only imagine how you feel after like a day of mediation and then you had a heavy day or name calling on like, what do you do when you get home? I know like you love your cats, but like,
it really can be like secondhand trauma, right? Like because now you're very heavily involved with this family's trauma, right? And maybe I don't know them that well and I just see them in the mediation room, but you are now dealing with like their heaviness. I'm a very like a highly sensitive person, so like I pick up on that, and it can very easily happen where like I now take that with me through the rest of my day. So I mean, time outside helps me a lot. Like I know it's like funny to say online like touch grass, haha. I actually like I physically will go outside and touch grass. Like I actually have to. I find that I actually need to touch grass, and I have my own therapist, right? And so I can talk to my therapist about whatever issues I have going on, and then I can also talk to my therapist about like, I saw this couple talking to each other in a way that broke my heart, and I really need to talk about it, right? Because those things do weigh on you. They really do. So, yeah, taking care of your own mental health as a professional, not just to not be a hypocrite, right, and tell my clients take care of your own mental health, but just to then show up better for our clients is super important. Yeah. Time outside, therapy, edibles, all the above.
And how was the divorce mediation conference this year?
It was great. It was actually, this was maybe my favorite one yet.
Okay. Why so?
Yeah. Because I didn't actually go to the conference this year. I was in Saratoga.
Yeah.
He's talking about
that's why it's favorite. Because you didn't go to
Saratoga's beautiful. So he's talking about the New York State Conference of Divorce Mediation. Their conference every year in Saratoga. And we've been going, but this was my favorite year yet. So I was actually just volunteering, helping people actually with their marketing do videos. So they were doing like video promos for their website. And some of these mediators are great, amazing mediators through the New York State Council, but some of them, I mean, I don't know how to say this and like be polite about it, but like they like have Gmail emails. They don't have a concept of how to market themselves in any way. So a lot of it was hand-holding, like, okay, so like this is your script and I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to hold your hand when I tell you this is terrible. Let's help you. Right. So I found it really fulfilling to help other mediators market themselves because I think that it needs to be done more. People don't know, like you just said, you didn't even know that you could actually get divorced without going to court. So it's so important for mediators to market themselves in an effective way. And a lot of them just don't do it. So I found it a lot of fun to help them do that.
When I went to the conference last year, I felt like we were the youngest in the room. Do you feel like
That's yes. That's also, the point I was trying to make. Like, they have Gmail emails. They don't even like have enough branding awareness or marketing awareness to have, their firm as their, domain in their email, but also that I am constantly the youngest person there. So this year I got to work with people who are younger than me.
Oh, nice.
And so that also made me feel like, these people get it. They understand the importance of marketing, and it's not like I'm trying to like scream at people, older than my parents, my grandparents' age, some of them, right? About the importance of marketing your firm, because I can't help you if you don't want to help you, right? Like what you you were there talking to them too. Like, I can't tell you why marketing is important. You have to want to come to me for marketing.
Yeah.
So I find that to be a thing very much.
Do you feel like the industry is bringing in younger people now?
I think they should be. I think they really should be. I think they should be bringing in younger people. They should be bringing in people of more diverse backgrounds. I think you need, because, right, like if I'm a person of color or a person of a marginalized community going to white-haired white people to get divorced might feel like maybe I don't feel safe here. Yeah. Maybe I am wondering if I'm going to be heard here. If I am a member of the LGBTQ plus community and I'm going to mediators and they're white-haired white people, cisgendered, right? Like I might feel like, are you going to understand the intricacies of my relationship? So I do find that is something that is super important. Like bringing in just people from more diverse backgrounds, because people from all sorts of backgrounds are getting divorced. Everybody is getting divorced. It's not just like one demographic.
How do you feel that we should do that? How do you feel like we should get out there and spread the word a little bit more, other than like typical marketing?
Outreach, straight up. Even, Chanel Smiley, who we both, know and work with. I saw her on social media and I DM'd her. I was like, I want to take you to lunch and I want to talk about what you do and I want to tell you about what I do. Okay. And now she's part of our practice group. We go to her gala every year. Yeah. So it was just that I DM'd her. Yeah. That was really it.
Just outreach.
Just outreach. Like, you just have to do it. Yeah. You just have to do it. And it's going to feel awkward and weird, but like, that's just what you have to do. Yeah. Because how are you going to, even as a professional in this process, like taking yourself out of the client's point of view, like how are you in this process going to grow and learn more if you're only helping the same kind of people or marketing yourself to the same kind of people? So
you don't know how everybody's background really, like, the intricacies or like the nuances of people's different background, because, as a child of Caribbean parents versus, I know they might be different the way like they get divorced.
Yeah, and you have a much different lived experience than I do, right? Because of your background and how you grew up. So, and not every mediator, not every divorce professional is good for every person. So having a plethora, right, of professionals to choose from, I think would only help the process and help the message that we bring. Because, no matter the background you come from, like we're here to like help people get divorced peacefully. Yeah. So yeah.
So what are the next steps for Vaz Law? Like, just keep boutique? You plan on your mom plan on getting her law license in Florida since she's a snowbird, or not even a snowbird? She just stays there.
Yeah, she's full time there. Yeah, it's funny because we joke like I'm a fake snowbird. Like I go down there in the winter whenever I
would go down there all the time if my parents lived down there. Like I saw you on Instagram the other day. You were like out there and like having really fun. Nice. And I think it was cold up here, and I was like, I hate you.
I will say that is great. Like people always ask if I'm going to go to law school or become an attorney, and people always ask if I'm going to move to Florida. I really enjoy going down there and enjoying it and then coming back to New York. I like having both, because then when it's raining here for a week straight, all I had to do was find a cat sitter, and I'm looking at flights like, why don't I just go down there?
$150, $200 flight. You don't even have to get a hotel, nothing. You got a room.
Literally, like the flight is like 2 hours. It's so nice. So yeah. So the next steps for Vaz Law is that I don't really think we want to grow the firm, right? That was, I think, at one point a goal of ours, but now we started a sort of lifestyle brand, Divorce Den. Okay. And we really want to build that, because our real goal is to sort of monetize our lifestyle brand, and then only be able to take clients that like we really feel passionate about helping through the collaborative divorce process or through divorce mediation. Yeah. And we don't have to like take these litigation, cases, because there's just not like where our heart's at, like helping people get divorced in court. And sometimes it is necessary, and I'm not gonna act like naive and act like everybody can get divorced outside of court. It's just not possible. But we want to help the people that can get divorced outside of court. So with Divorce Den, what our ultimate goal is to really just educate people about divorce and destigmatize divorce, because it is sometimes like a taboo subject. Like even when people hear I work in divorce, a lot of times the first thing they say to me is, "Oh, what are crazy divorce stories?" And they just want to hear like the funny divorce story. People were fighting over
What about the feel good ones?
their Beanie Baby collection or whatever. But exactly, there are a lot of couples getting divorced that it is the right decision for them, right? And they can be better co-parents and they can be better people outside of that relationship. So that's what we want to talk about. Exactly. We want to talk about getting a prenup. We want to talk about getting divorced. We want to talk about getting married again. We want to talk about, being a single mom, being a single parent, and just like destigmatize that. So that is really, even though it's not necessarily related to Vaz Law and the law firm, Vaz Law and the law firm is starting Divorce Den, and we're making YouTube videos, and we're learning and we're growing, and there are a lot of growing pains, and you're like learning a lot of stuff, like, oh crap, that YouTube video doesn't
Are you
look that
part of
good.
the camp that's like every marriage should have a prenup?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
I feel like that's becoming more and more prevalent. Like, I feel like if it was like 5-10 years ago, it'd be like prenup.
Exactly.
Like,
Which is also why we started Divorce Den, to talk about things like that. So you're not like, prenup. Oh, we don't want you to be like grossed out by the idea of a prenup, or grossed out by the idea that maybe you're going to have to get divorced.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you get divorced, like to me, that's no big deal. Like truly, like you gave it a go and it didn't work out. And it is what it is, right? Are you going to stay at your same job forever? Are you going to keep the same pedicure forever?
Yeah.
Are you know what I mean? You change your mind sometimes. Shit happens.
That's a
like,
good way to put it.
get divorced. Like, who cares? Like, get divorced. Who cares?
How do you navigate when you're in a relationship and you want to get married and you're just like prenup, and then the other partner is just like, what?
Yeah, that is a serious conversation to have, because I think that if you... So just number one, just before we get into that, everybody should be getting a prenup, not just wealthy people. And that's something that everybody thinks, right? Well, I'm maybe a blue collar worker. I'm like a middle income. Like I'm a teacher. Why do I need a prenup? Everybody needs a prenup, because not only are you protecting yourself financially in, the case that you do get divorced, but it also like fosters communication about things that maybe you weren't talking about before. Exactly. Like your finances. So through the case, through the process of getting a prenup, you're now talking to your soon-to-be spouse about, well, how do we expect to divide the living expenses? Like, so do you want to keep your retirement account? Do you even have a retirement account? Are you waiting on an inheritance to come in? Are you going to buy the house and I'm going to pay just basic conversations like that. Yeah. It makes you have to have that conversation and will set you up for a healthier relationship. Mm-hmm. So I think that if you are opening up the conversation of a prenup to your partner, and they are like, absolutely no, I would say to say that, I just want to talk about this openly. I'm not saying that we are getting divorced. I'm saying that 50% of people who are getting married are getting divorced. Just being real.
The odds are not on our side.
Just being real. And that this, we always say at work, right? Like, it's like car insurance. Like, I'm not paying Geico every month, thinking I'm going to get into a car accident today every time I get in the car, right? But I'm glad I have it if I do get into a car accident. So it's something that we want you to do and then never think about, because we want you to be happily married, right? People think like, oh, you're manifesting the divorce if you're getting a prenup. Like, we just want you to...
There's such strong feelings for that.
We feel so strongly about prenups. So strongly. Like, everybody should really be getting prenups. Also, if somebody's resistant to the prenup conversation and you bring it up, make an appointment and get a consultation with a divorce mediator, divorce attorney together, and ask them why you need a prenup. Yeah. So you don't have to do the convincing, right? Like, get somebody else who's trained in that to convince your spouse to get a prenup.
Good luck asking someone to marry you and then saying a prenup and then being like, well, before we get the prenup, now you need to talk to divorce mediator. It's like, damn, we're not even married.
And I get that, but I also don't give a shit. Get a prenup. Like, I get that, but I also feel like if your partner is so resistant to that conversation, like, to me, that's a huge red flag. Like, if I'm engaged right now, I'm getting married tomorrow, making this up, and my partner's absolutely resistant to the conversation of a prenup. Well, why?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you feel so strongly about that?
Yeah.
Because I actually just want to make sure that in 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, if we're getting divorced, I'm not destitute and you're not destitute.
Yeah.
You know?
Gotcha. All right, awesome. So where can we find you guys? How can we get in touch with Vaz, Brittany, or Liz and talk about divorce mediation?
Yeah, VazLaw.com. We just redid our website with Ada from Forward Branding. It's amazing. Our website's amazing. Or on social media at Vaz Law. I think it's Vaz_law. Or Divorce Den. Divorce Den is like our baby, and it is very much a baby.
Yeah.
But she's just going to grow up to be a wonderful, beautiful woman who's going to get married and have a prenup and everything. So find us at Vaz Law or Divorce Den on YouTube. Again, it's just a baby, but we want to grow it and nurture it and make sure that everybody knows about mediation, collaborative divorce, staying outside of court, and just divorce education. And that's it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming, Brittany. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. This is so much fun.